with regards to the league's domestic violence policy, was anything accomplished this week in New York?
Well, Maggie, I think what they're trying to accomplish right now is they're trying to hear from everybody who has an opinion and who means something to the NFL right now. And so I think they're in their fact-finding mode probably until the end of October. And after that, they're going to formulate a policy. I think one of the biggest problems that the league is going to have, and I was at that meeting yesterday and talked to a lot of people inside the meetings, and the biggest problem they're going to have is figuring out when to take a player off the field. And, you know, so I don't think that I think if you polled the owners right now, the majority of owners would feel like Ray McDonald probably should be playing right now with the 49ers. You know, he has not been charged. He has not been indicted. And so I think you have to figure out, you have to draw a line. When do you take a player off the field? I think that teams right now are confused by that, and that's one of the reasons why Roger Goodell has sort of empowered Lisa Friel, the former sex crimes prosecutor in the New York District Attorney's Office, to basically try to figure out what is the most fair system right now. And Maggie, a lot of people would say, well, wait a second, why do you need to hear all of this proof about what happened with a guy if the woman has got some damage or she has a black and blue mark? I mean, and I understand that, and that is what is kind of tormenting about this. But I think there has to be some attention paid to due process in this, because it's America. You can't just, on a charge, on an accusation, you can't just take somebody off the field, I don't think.
Lisa Friel made a really good point that you wrote about in the MMQB, and that is that all 50 states have different policies when it comes to domestic violence. Do you think that will be the biggest obstacle in creating a comprehensive policy?
There's no question. I mean, these owners in New York yesterday were, I think, it was a sobering thing for them to hear. For instance, in some states in the United States, if there is a phone call saying that I am under attack by my husband or my boyfriend, or we've had this argument or whatever, or vice versa, if a man said my wife is, beating me with a bat or whatever, it's an automatic arrest. And then in some states, the police go to see if there should be an arrest. And then in a state like North Carolina, there are usually 2 trials, one by a judge and one in front of a jury. So there are so many different pieces of legislation that the NFL is trying to sort through, because teams obviously play in a lot of different states.
Of course, and Roger Goodell mentioned something about an intermediate step. Something that's in between when the alleged incident occurs and then when discipline is doled out by the league. Did he expand on that?
No, but
what that could be?
Well, what I think they're referring to, Maggie, is for either what I would call a discipline czar or a discipline panel. Let's say that they had 3 people that the league and the Players Association agreed to as sort of the arbiters of this, and you have a Ray McDonald situation. Well, what I think this panel would do immediately is look at the facts of the situation and determine if there was just cause to take Ray McDonald off the field immediately. If there isn't, then they would say, okay, we're going to let him play until there is some legally binding decision made. Now, in the case of Jonathan Dwyer, the Arizona Cardinals running back, that's a different story than Ray McDonald, because a lot of people have said, well, the Cardinals basically, put him on non-football illness. They can't bring him back the whole year. But the difference with Jonathan Dwyer is that he twice mentioned/threatened suicide in his talks, both with his wife, his estranged wife, and the authorities. And so then the Cardinals could say, well, he's a danger to himself, so we need to take him off the field right now. So there was a reason there that didn't exist in these other cases.